Boomer Sooner.
Runs it himself, right up the middle, has a whole 45-40. Watch out, he's in the clear. 30, tripped up at the 25-yard line, or he would have gone the whole way. Deep shot fluttering around the 15-yard line. It's caught, wrapped up, stopped. You can unhitch the wagon. Put the ponies in the barn. Sooner magic still works in the SEC.
Welcome to the Air Comfort Solutions OU Huddle, live from Rudy's Country Store and Barbecue on the Sooner Sports Network from Learfield. Presented by Air Comfort Solutions, your total home solution for plumbing, heating, air conditioning, and electrical. Make the winning call today. Also brought to you by Bud Light, easy to drink, easy to enjoy. Rudy's Country Store and Barbecue, bringing you the best in real Texas barbecue. And by the Trails Golf Club, where members become family. Now, the Air Comfort Solutions OU Huddle.
Oh, welcome to Rudy's. Welcome to Rudy's Country Store and Barbecue. It is the Huddle. And as always, it's brought to you by the great people at Air Comfort Solutions, your total home solution for plumbing, heating, air conditioning, and electrical. Make the winning call today. It's a double dose of tennis, and we start with men's tennis coach Nick Kroll. Coach, welcome. Welcome to Rudy's.
Hey,
good to
thanks
have
for
you
having
aboard.
me.
By the way, we should point out that Coach Kroll is here, and then Audra Cohen is sliding in the next 30 minutes. And it's right in the middle of an event that you guys have going on right over the Headington Tennis Complex, isn't it?
Yeah, right across the street, we've got our Fan Appreciation Night starting at 6 p.m. And, we're going to have a lot of kids out there, adults, fans, alumni, boosters, everybody just having a good time, meeting the guys, doing a little clinic, signing some autographs, getting some posters.
How important is that for you as a coach to have the fans involved and to have events like this for them?
Oh, it's huge. We've been doing this now 3 or 4 years, and it continues to grow and get bigger every single year. And, we love having huge crowds at our matches. And so we feel like the more we can get out in the community and get to know get to know our fans, but then our fans kind of get to know our guys. And they connect, and then they come cheer them on.
And you and Audra work well together because it's a shared facility, a shared home court, and when you can have events like this and you have that synergy, it's a big deal.
Absolutely. Audra and I, we were hired about 5 days apart 9 years ago.
Oh my gosh, that's right.
And so she's been here 5 days longer than I have, but right from the beginning we got along really, really well, and we just wanted to be united and have one front for the Oklahoma tennis program.
Oh, that's awesome. What I mean, there's obvious differences, but as far as just equipment and gear, there's really not a big difference between the women's and the men's tennis. It's just the speed of the game, isn't it? I mean, some equipment differences.
Yeah, everyone's playing with different rackets. Kind of it's a personal preference.
Right.
The women's team is great. The guys' team's great. We run our programs a little bit differently. The guys, we don't practice with the girls. The girls don't practice with the guys, but we share the facility. Everyone's there during the same time, and it's a great relationship.
What's the off season been? Off season doesn't really exist. I feel like with every coach we say this, and last week it was wrestling, and KJ was here, and their season started. Yours starts on Friday, but then you were already competing last week. You had the fall for the individual, and you're coaching away. Oh, by the way, you're also recruiting nonstop too.
Yeah, that's right.
And dad and husbands fit in there somewhere too, Coach. But what was the off season like for you?
Yeah, the fall season, we kind of, it's the individual season for college tennis, and so our guys will play, 5 or 6 events during the fall, and they're really working on their games. They're trying to get better. We're working on getting them stronger, fitter, better mentally, all of that, and then they're competing as well, and they're working on their own individual rankings for college, and then trying to qualify for the individual NCAA championships, which they moved to the fall. It's at the end of November, and so it's the week before Thanksgiving. So our season goes all the way basically to Thanksgiving now in the fall.
Wow.
And then, we come back. We're recruiting a lot in early December. Our guys went home around the 19th of December, and then we had them back on January 2nd. So it goes really quick, and now we're just getting ready to play these matches.
Whenever you talk about your guys going home, you're traveling all over the globe.
Yeah.
You have a very diverse roster geographically. Is that just where the best talent is right now?
Yeah, we're looking for the best players to come in and help us win a national championship and SEC championship. And so, there's some great American players out there too, but we've been able to locate some of these really, really fine players around the world, and we're really diverse. Like you said, we have guys from 8 different countries on our team. Out of 9 guys, we have 1 American. Hank Tronson from Nashville, Tennessee, and he's a great player. We love having him, but he brings that. He kind of understands what college sports, college tennis is all about, playing for a team, and that's really the big thing that we're trying to do with our guys is we're bringing in these guys from all over the globe, but now we're trying to unite them all into one, and we talk about being a Sooner for life, bleeding red, and these guys are really buying in, and they really love being at Oklahoma.
I'm curious for the amount of action that they get, the amount of meets that they participate in. Is it a larger number when they get to college, or are they playing maybe even more? I bring that up. KJ talks about it with women's gymnastics. When they get to the college ranks, it's more meets than they've ever participated in because they might do one a month, maybe one every other month. What's it like with some of the young guys when they come in?
Yeah, I think it's different. Okay. In college, especially in the spring, we're playing about 2 matches a week. So we're playing dual matches on a Friday and a Sunday. And then you've kind of got Monday off and then Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday to get ready for the next match. These guys are playing week-long tournaments throughout the year. And they might play 2 weeks in a row, and then they might have 3 or 4 weeks off. And so it's just a totally different setup than it is on playing on the junior circuit or on the pro circuit.
Well, you mentioned it. Your 9th season. You've reached the NCAA tournament every year. In fact, the program's reached 15 straight. And you find yourself 5th in the SEC preseason polls, 21 in the ITA preseason polls. I guess maybe at some point in this opening segment we should talk about your squad. How you feeling about things?
Yeah, we love our group. They're really coming together. I thought last year we were pretty young. We had quite a few freshmen, and so we've got 3 or 4 sophomores now. We've got a couple juniors, a couple seniors, and a couple new guys that came in. We have one guy that just got here in January. But we're really deep. We've got one of the deepest teams in the country, according to a lot of different metrics, and so we're really excited about that. And we've had some guys really step up in the fall and really develop, and so we've got some really great players at the top of the lineup too.
How important is depth?
Depth is huge in college tennis. There's 6 singles points, 3 doubles matches, and so you might have one. If you only have 1 or 2 good players, those guys may win, but you may not win the match. And so you've got to have, you've got to be 9 deep now, especially with how physical the sport is. If guys get injured, you've got to be able to have guys that can step up and play 5, 6 in the lineup.
Nick Kroll with us. It's the Huddle. We're talking tennis for an hour. Audra Cohen's coming up next. But before we grab our opening timeout, let's go ahead and just talk about one of those guys that has a chance to be a big difference maker this year in the sophomore, Oscar Lasitas.
Yeah. Oscar from France was a freshman last year. He's qualified for the individual NCAA championships both years, freshman, sophomore. Has really established himself as one of the strongest players in the country, and he's super physical. He's fast. He's got a huge forehand, big serve, and he's just really come a long way since he's become a Sooner.
You mentioned it's come a long way. Watching some highlights of him here on the TV side. Where have you seen his biggest improvement?
We're working a lot on the mental game. I think for him, just understanding his game better, how he wants to play points. He's got all the tools. He's got a huge serve. He's got a huge forehand. We've really got him coming to the net a little bit more, and I see his biggest improvement probably in his transition game and getting forward.
How does he handle the adjustment to the States?
I think pretty well. He does really good in school. He's a great teammate. He's super focused on his tennis. But he also enjoys being at Oklahoma. He's gotten into the football, and he goes to all the football games. So, I think he's adapting well.
Have you seen that very often, where you'll have some guys that come in from overseas, they haven't really experienced college football or college basketball? I know it's harder with college basketball because it's in the season, but they just really fall in love with it. They come hooked.
Almost every guy. Yeah, I would say they get here and we keep telling them, like, you're going to love it in the fall. You get to go to football games. And the first game they go to, they just can't believe the crowds. And then usually it takes them most of the season, their first year, to even understand the sport. Most of our guys are from Europe or South America, and they really understand soccer. And for them, that's called football. And so learning American football has been fun for those guys, but then they love it.
All right, let's go ahead and grab our opening timeout. This segment's been brought to you by family-owned Community Coffee, the official brewed coffee of OU Athletics. Taste the difference family makes. One segment down, talking OU men's tennis. We'll have more with Nick Kroll next inside the Huddle. Live from Rudy's.
thank you to our cornerstone television partners, OU Health, OG&E, Fowler Auto Group, and Coca-Cola. The Huddle is brought to you by Taco Mayo. Tap the app and save up to 25% today. Air Comfort Solutions. Your total home solution for plumbing, heating, air conditioning, and electrical. Make the winning call today. One Oklahoma. Powered by Sooner Sports Properties. Fan-fueled, athlete-focused.
All right, welcome back inside the Huddle. I mentioned that this segment is being brought to you by Taco Mayo. Tap the app and save up to 25% today. All right, we'll let you get back over to your fan event here in about 10 minutes. Let's spend some time talking about your team. We spent a lot of time on Oscar Lecidius. I'll go down the list, and if there's anyone I missed that you want to make sure we mention, just throw them in there. Luis Alvarez.
Yeah, Luis is a senior from Mexico. He came to us in January 3 years ago, so it's gone really fast for him, but he's probably one of our most improved players we've had over the last 3 years. He qualified for the NCAA tournament this fall, and he's really stepped up. He's team captain now, voted by his teammates, and just he leads by example, and he's learning to use his voice in the locker room, which has been really, really good, and keeping our guys accountable. But the guy's the hardest worker on the team, and he has been for 3 years. But
you mentioned leadership and being a senior. Sometimes there's certain guys that have it, and other guys have to develop it. Guys and gals, there's no. Yeah. I'm not saying one way's wrong or one way's right. For him, you kind of seem to insinuate it was a matter of finding his voice a bit, or
he always was a leader, and he was leading a lot by example. But when he got here as a freshman, there were a lot of juniors and a lot of seniors, and so he kind of had to bide his time a little bit. And now it's his turn. He's a senior with Bruno. Both of those guys are co-captains, and they do a great job leading the team from within in the locker room and just really pushing the guys.
You mentioned leadership and senior. How was his fall?
Luis had a great fall.
Good.
He actually won a pro event in Arkansas. He beat some of the best players in the country. In fact, he beat the #1 player in the country from last year from the University of Texas, Timo Legaut. He beat him in the quarterfinals. And, I think that really gave Luis a lot of confidence knowing that he can compete at that level this year as a senior.
I had to double check my roster because I didn't have Bruno written down. I completely forgot that he was back this year after bursting onto the scene virally. Boy, he's an impressive body. What a great kid. Had him in here with us last year.
Yep. No, Bruno's working really, really hard. He's gotten in really good shape. And his game's continuing to evolve. His doubles game is really, really big. One of the best doubles players in the country. Him and Oscar were top 10 in the country preseason, and we're looking for big things from those guys. But no, Oscar's team leader for sure, and really pushes the guys.
All right, let's talk about Johan. Johan Rodriguez?
Yep, Johan Rodriguez is a freshman. He was the #2 rated freshman in the country this year on the ITA newcomer list, which was a huge thing for us. He had a great record coming into college playing kind of on the futures and challenger circuit on the pro tour, and he came in here, and he actually got in kind of late. We were fighting these visa battles to get him a visa, and he actually came almost at the end of September.
Oh,
so
wow.
He missed the first 4 or 5 weeks of the fall, but he's really adapted well, and he's learning quick, and he's going to be one of the more exciting guys on the team to watch.
Just out of curiosity, what's that battle like for you, and how involved are you when it comes to visas or when it comes to transcripts and things of that nature? What's that like? Because it's so unique for you, right?
Yeah, definitely. Trying to get the visas, get the guys admitted into school, get all the transcripts. There's a whole process going with the international side, and then once you get admitted, then there's the process of getting the visa, and it's really out of our hands at that point. And then they have to go to the embassy in the country that they live and apply for the visa, and then that can sometimes take 2, 3, 4 weeks, and depending on the wait time, and then depending on when they get admitted into school, it's always kind of a rush getting them here. But fortunately, we were able to get them here.
But and for Johan, what kind of player is he? What can we expect from him?
He's a definitely got a big game. His forehand's really big. I would say he plays looking to dominate from the baseline. We're continuing to work on his transition game, getting him to move forward a little bit more. But he's got some of the best wins in the country in his career. And so, yeah, I think he's got a huge upside.
All right, one more I have here. Young man of Israel, Oral Kimi.
Yeah, Oral Kimi, kind of the same type resume as Johan. Came in a little bit later, little older guy coming in, and had a great, has a lot of big wins, exciting guy. Both of the guys, they're not the biggest guys in the world. You'll see when you come watch them play, but they're super fast. They've got a lot of power. Both can finish around the net, and I think really they just got a lot of experience, both 22 years old.
What would you say, well, did we miss anyone? Are there any other, I mean, obviously there's other players on these rosters, but is there someone that kind of out of the fall caught your eye?
Well, you know, Asahi Harazaki, he's probably, I would say he's the most improved player in college tennis right now over the last probably year and a half. He's ranked in the top 75 ITA now. And when he came as a freshman, he wasn't really in the lineup, and he got to play little doubles, and he's just really worked super hard. He stays over the breaks, and he works with us. And, yeah, we're super excited for Asahi. Hank Tronson from Nashville, he's a guy that was injured last year, had to take a medical red shirt, but he's really playing great tennis. He's got a huge game, big serve, big forehand, comes forward. So, yeah, all these guys are playing really, really well.
All right, let's take a look at our upcoming OU men's tennis schedule, which starts this week, and it's brought to you by One Oklahoma, powered by Sooner Sports Properties. It's a challenging schedule you got laid out in front of it, starting with a team on the fringe of the top 10 in Arizona coming to town this week.
Yeah, Arizona's been one of the best teams in the country probably the last 5 or 6 years, Sweet 16 team. You know, they're a team that won the Big 12 last year. And so, you know, we talked to our guys early on, and we said, look, we're going to challenge a really challenging schedule. We believe in our guys, and we want to put them up against the best guys getting ready for the SEC and competing for a national championship.
Now, 5th in the preseason polls, 21 overall, and we know the SEC. We hear about it in football. We've seen it in basketball, baseball, and softball. It's a beast in men's tennis too, isn't it?
Yeah, it sure is. It's by far the best conference in the country in terms of depth. You know, the teams at the top are ranked, you know, top couple in the country. And so every match is a battle. You got to go on the road. The travel's a little bit different than what we were used to in the Big 12. But, you know, we got our first taste of it last year. And so, you know, we feel like we got a little bit more experience going into the SEC this year, kind of knowing the ins and outs.
You got a couple of my guys, too, that are helping you out. And Nick Andrade, how long has he been with you on the nutrition side?
Yeah,
Love Nick.
I think Nick's going on year 5 or 6 at least. Yeah,
what a stud.
Yeah, we love Nick.
And then Keldon, too,
yeah,
on the strength and conditioning side.
You know, Keldon's been with us since I've been here. He's been with us for 9 years. He kind of started as a student coach back in the day, and then, you know, he's just continued to evolve, and, you know, he's really doing a great job with our S&C.
Man, I appreciate you, Coach. I know you got an event going on, but thanks for finding time for us.
All right. Nick
Kroll, OU Men's Tennis, get out and support him this week as they start the season. When we come back, Audra Cohen joins us. Talk women's tennis inside the Huddle.
The Huddle is brought to you by Riverwind Casino. It's always a good time. OU Fan Shop. The best place to gear up for game day is shop.soonersports.com. Sooner Kids Club. Log on to Soonersports.com/kids for information about joining the Kids Club presented by OG&E and brought to you in part by Devon Energy.
The Huddle, we are live from Rudy's Country Store and Barbecue, and it's, as always, brought to you by Air Comfort Solutions, your total home solution for plumbing, heating, air conditioning, and electrical. Make the winning call today. Please join me in welcoming OU women's tennis coach Audra Cohen to the stage. What's up, Coach? How are you?
I'm great. How are you doing?
Good. Sorry to pull you away from your event. So you and Nick were like 2 trains passing, right?
Yeah.
He's going to go take care of things.
Yeah. Well, Nick. Well, I ran the very first part, and then Nick's going over to run the rest of it, and then we'll meet up in the end and introduce the team and have a great night.
I didn't realize. So you guys were hired just days apart, or
Yeah.
I thought you had a year on him. I thought.
No.
Is this your 9th year then, or is this your 10th?
This is my 10th year.
Oh
yeah.
my goodness, Coach.
I think I have like 2 weeks on him.
He claimed 5 days, but we can do the math and check it
either
out.
one doesn't matter. Yeah.
I started this with him, so I just wanted to ask you. It seems that you guys have a great relationship. How cool is that when you share a facility with the men's teams? And obviously, you've done an incredible job in building this foundation and taking OU women's tennis to heights it's never been. But it's really cool to see 2 programs work together well.
Yeah, I mean, it's unlike a lot of places in the country. I think you see a lot of men's team over here, women's team over here, and that cohesion. I mean, it's one tennis club. It's OU Tennis Club. We're all there, and if we don't support each other, I mean, how can we build a program really? So it's been really important to build the program with the men's program. Mm-hmm. I learned that at University of North Florida as a head coach, young, that if your teams are united, they can help each other compete. They can help each other bring energy and fans to the matches, and that I really brought that philosophy here as well.
It's beautiful. It's a beautiful idea, and I know that you obviously share an incredible facility too. But like you said, that's uncommon. You know, sometimes I don't want to say it's adversarial, but there can always be friction. I love seeing, and it seems like your student athletes root for them and vice versa, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the most fun time that some of our young women have is going to the men's match and taunting and making it a difficult match for the opponent, and the same for the guys. The guys come out to our matches and they make it hectic for the other team that's playing against us.
So I'm a big fan. I love what you've done. 2022 national runners-up, just constantly in that top 25, top 10, top 5. But I'm real curious for you what the adjustment has been like to Oklahoma. Now, it's your 10th year. But a majority of your life was Florida. If it was northern Florida, you're from Plantation, Florida. So what was the adjustment like to green country, the Bible Belt, if you will, from Florida?
Right. I mean, it's been a big adjustment. I'm not going to lie about that. But I also think, this is a great place to live, and it's a great place to raise a family. And everybody here is so incredibly nice. I think that was the hardest adjustment. I always had this idea that if people were nice, they wanted something from you, because I'm from South Florida. So
I hear you.
You know, people want something from you if they're going to be that nice. And so that's been a really big adjustment, is that people are just genuinely nice and they genuinely care about your program.
Just so you know, because you have a 13-month-old and a newborn now, right?
Yeah.
All right. The being nice to you, because they want something, that's your kids when they reach about 10 or 11 or 12 years. Oh, they're really going to laugh at all your jokes too during Christmas time. But that's a cool thing to say, because I really do think that there is a passion for every sports program at Oklahoma. But you'll find that group there's a great group here tonight that supports women's basketball. There's a great group here every week that supports football and softball and baseball. And you guys see that too in tennis. You're talking about your event you're having on. It's important to be in that community and obviously have fans that are passionate about you and your team.
For sure. And I think having the club model where we have members at the club, and our facility is open to the public, and we have a junior after-school program, and just the amount of tennis that we're pumping through our facility and in this community is important to us, because that's who comes out to the matches, and that's who cares about each one of our athletes.
I know we're going to talk about the schedule more in depth coming up in our next segment, but man, you didn't really mess around. This is a very challenging schedule for you guys in 2025 and 2026, excuse me, adding the factor in the SEC. Is that a philosophy of yours to really try to challenge your squad every year?
Yeah, so in all honesty, this is one of the weaker non-conference schedules, non-conference, because our conference is just so loaded. So if you look at the women's side of the SEC, I mean, we're preseason ranked 6th in the country, and also preseason 6th in the SEC. So I think that speaks to exactly how tough SEC women's tennis is, and what an incredible opportunity to be part of the best conference in the country.
Well, and I said it's heavy to start. I have written down here home heavy to start. You're going to spend a lot of time in Norman. That's good with a newborn, right? So you need that time. But was that just kind of the luck of the schedule, or did you want to spend that much time here in Norman and up to Tulsa too?
Yeah, I think some of it is luck, but also we host ITA kickoff weekend this year. Last year we didn't host ITA kickoff weekend, so it was important to have a road trip before. We went to a pretty important road trip and challenged them early. We went to Cal, beat Cal at Cal, and then got into National Indoor. So this year we host. We've got some pretty good teams coming to us, and it's important that we're really comfortable on our court. So I would say we want to be at our peak of January at ITA kickoff weekend, and so why travel when you're going to be playing here? So.
What's the process like to host? I mean, is it a lot on everyone?
it's a moderate amount, I would say. Our event staff, we're keeping them busy every year, but that's a good problem to have.
Yeah.
I mean, to be able to host, and you have to finish top 14 in the country in order to host in the following year. And then it's basically a draft. So the number 15 team in the country gets to pick where they go first, and so forth. So
wow.
So it's a great honor to be able to host, and you have to earn it. And I think that's important. But also you have a new team when you host, so it's interesting. Like, you got to make sure that they not only, some of them haven't earned it yet, but they don't know what it's like yet, but we have to teach them in this short time frame and get them prepared for a big match.
What's the portal world been like for you? Is it as crazy as it seems in other sports?
I think it's crazy. I think college athletics right now is obviously we're the storyline. The portal is a huge part of it, and we've been fortunate to be able to hold on to quite a few of our better players, and I think that speaks to Oklahoma and kind of how we run the program. It's not transactional. It's a very family-oriented environment. You're part of our program, not just as a player, but also as a person. And I think there is that connectivity that helps us with continuity. But I would still say that, as we look at other athletes on the portal, we're aware that maybe their continuity and their connectivity is not at the level that we want in our program. So we're highly skeptical of players on the portal, but also knowing about each program and maybe what went wrong is important as well, because it could be a program problem, it could be a player problem, you don't know.
And that's a tough thing to find out in a very short amount of time, isn't it?
Yeah, for definitely. And when you say short amount of time, I mean, you're talking about 30 seconds. Like, I mean, you're not talking about like, a week. Like, you're talking about 30 seconds is like the difference of what they're deciding. We've had players commit to us and then 30 seconds later call me back and say, hey, I made the worst decision. I want to go somewhere else. I'm like, what are you talking about?
We just talked for 30 seconds.
And then they're there, and now, I think that's when you get to see the other side of it too as a coach.
I'm so enamored and curious just about the recruiting process for you and Nick, because it is different, right?
Yeah.
Do you end up finding yourself traveling a lot because you look at the diversity geographically of your roster? Do you spend time overseas? Are there camps, recruiting camps? Like, how are you able to find talent?
Yeah, so camps is not how we find talent.
Okay.
I'll tell you that right away. Camps are great for our program and building up the program, but definitely not as much for finding that talent. What we find is we have to travel, we have to get out there and see them and build that relationship with them. Mm-hmm. And none of them want to go to college at first. But then
they all want to be pro.
Yeah, but over time, as they start to see even the level in college, then their decision might change. And then the timeline of when they change their mind to actually go to school and the time between then and when they actually start school is usually very short. So it's tough. You have to maintain a relationship with somebody who has no interest in going to college. And then you have to somehow...
In a short amount of time.
Yes, in a short amount of time when they finally decide. And then sometimes by that time, they have an agent or something that now you're working through this other guy. And so it's tough. I mean, but I do think that in-person part is something they'll look back to and remember. Even if you met them 2 years ago or 1 year ago, and then they decide that's. But the other caveat to all of this is the rules have changed in terms of what age they can go to school. So there used to be a lot more. There was a lot more strictness on the time that they had between graduating high school and starting college. And now it's just like they lose the years on the back end, but they're immediately eligible.
Gotcha.
So it changes everything.
So in addition, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, you can recruit everybody now.
So I'm thinking about this, and the brutal honesty is great. You're selling someone on this incredible program that wants to win national championships, and sure, they like it. They have no desire to go to college. They want to play pro tennis. But with that in mind, you also have a roster that you have to put together. Right. So what is that balance like for you whenever it's like, hey, I know this person, might not play pro, so they could come here, but here's someone that, it definitely wants to be here. And how do you balance that?
Well, I'll tell you that it makes having 2 kids under 13 months look very easy. Yeah, that's my short answer there. It's stressful, and it's you have to be willing to be patient, and you have to be willing not to panic and pull the trigger on a player that maybe isn't the right fit for your program. And so I think that's the part where you got to weigh the balance of the risk reward.
I never knew. I mean, that's a lot. And I don't know. Again, we focus so much on recruiting in other sports. I don't know how much has changed. You talked about the eligibility side of it. Have you seen that evolving landscape too? That kind of fits in with, NIL. Maybe there's a couple schools that are like, oh, we're gonna pay to get here. I mean, what's that world been like?
Yeah, it's incredible. The level on the women's side right now. I mean, you have players that are top 200 in the world in WTA. They're getting into the qualifying of Australian Open. They're getting into sometimes the main draw of these slams, and they're playing college tennis. So you see a lot more marquee players, I'll call them. So you'll see the players that are just paid to come out and play the big matches, and so it's changed our sport dramatically.
I want to talk about your team when we come back.
Yeah.
But before we grab our initial break with you, Coach, you mentioned hosting the ITA. You're also going to become the first Oklahoma program to host an SEC championship. So no pressure.
Yeah.
But also in that, how exciting is that to have the SEC championship here in Norman?
I mean, it's awesome. Like, what an opportunity to showcase not only our facility but our fans and all the energy and passion that's put into our program. And we've built it over the last 10 years to get to this place where we're playing for championships. So I'm proud of this group that they're able to go into an SEC tournament and have a chance to do well in it.
All right, our opening segment. How great is Audra Cohen, huh? Our opening segment has been brought to you by Riverwind Casino, the official entertainment destination of OU Athletics. All right, when we come back, let's talk a little bit about this roster for OU women's tennis heading into the season at number 6 in their 4th consecutive year in the top 20. Stick around. You're Inside the Huddle, presented by Air Comfort Solutions.
The Huddle is brought to you by Rudy's Country Store and Barbecue, bringing you the best in real Texas barbecue. Trails Golf Club of Norman, where members become family. Inquire today at trailsgolf.com. OU's 2025-2026 women's basketball games are available on Ritmo 96.5 FM in Oklahoma City and 101.5 FM El Patron in Tulsa, as well as on those stations' websites. Each OU Spanish broadcast will feature a 15-minute pregame show and a 15-minute postgame show.
Welcome back Inside the Huddle. We got one more segment with Audra Cohen. And it's brought to you by Air Comfort Solutions, your total home solution for plumbing, heating, air conditioning, and electrical. Make the winning call today. By the way, I did want to mention, you guys, you and Nick, men's and women's tennis program, have an event going on tonight. It's always a good time to remind everyone, these events, you're going to see some of the best tennis in the country. It's in a great price range, and it's at an elite facility with some of the best teams in the country coming here. And you love to have a great rowdy crowd, don't you?
We love a rowdy crowd. It's not Wimbledon. I say that every time I'm up here, but I think it's a misconception that tennis is a silent, turn your head and clap sport. And at the college level, it's fun. It's exciting. You can get involved in the match, and you can be the difference maker. You can get in the head of the opponent, and that's always huge for us as a home team.
Yeah, and you've had some big-time matches here, too. We mentioned last segment you're going to be hosting the SEC tournament, but there's going to be a lot of opportunities at home. Well, let's go ahead and just take a look at the upcoming schedule, which is brought to you by One Oklahoma. One Oklahoma, powered by Sooner Sports Properties, Fan Field, Athlete Focused. And there it is, coming up, Tarleton State on Thursday, then Wyoming, then Wichita State, then Texas State. And guess what? They're all right here in Norman. Overall, what do we see early on here in the challenges you've got?
I think the biggest challenge is kind of figuring out doubles, figuring out what lineups we want to play and things like that, and just seeing who fits well together on the doubles court, who plays better on the forehand side or backhand side, or little things like that. I think we can clean up in these first 4 matches, and also how do we compete? How do we compete when the pressure is on us? We're supposed to on paper win these matches, and how do you handle that? Are you confident? Are you scared? Are you pulling back? Are you going after it? And I think those all speak to how you're going to handle pressure situations again in big matches. And and so that's important for us, is establishing what our identity is as a team this year, and how we want to compete this year.
How was the fall? for you? I think we got going talking about recruiting. We never really got into how the fall was for you.
Pretty good. I mean, I think the fall has changed quite a bit.
Really?
We have individual championships has moved to the fall, which changes kind of the dynamic. Some players want to play a more pro-driven schedule. Some players want to play a more collegiate-driven schedule and get into the NCAA tournament and what their goals are. So you don't get that same team vibe feel that you might have had before in the fall. So we played some really great matches. We played some pretty bad matches, like individually. And so I think we have a lot of opportunity and a lot of question marks too. And I think that's good. You don't want to be having an unbelievable fall heading into the spring and you have nothing but expectations that are not maybe real.
Common to have 5 returnees and 4 newcomers. It's almost like you have the perfect balance of this year with those who have been around and those who are new to the program.
Yeah, not super common. I mean, I think adding 4 is a pretty big class. But importantly, we added 4 in August, and I think that helps us quite a bit because we didn't have to spend a lot of time this January to review and onboard anybody new because we've added some in the spring before. So having everybody that has already been here since August is really been nice. We've had a lot of ability to just hit the ground running since we started practice in January, and we're excited for this group. We have some new faces, but a lot of talent and a lot of depth.
Well, you mentioned figuring out doubles. Who's kind of got the leg up there? Who's looking at #1 doubles right now to start the season?
I mean, we have the #1 team in the country. So we have Roisin Gilhini and Gloriana Nahum. They got to the finals of All-Americans in the fall. They also got to the semis of NCAAs. Incredible team. We joke, we call them the besties because they're not. They're actually not the best of friends. So it's been. But now I think they have a genuine respect and love for each other. But we've joked and called them the besties this whole time, and it's been kind of fun to watch them experience so much success, becoming All-Americans and really. Establishing their history here at Oklahoma. They're going to be in the record book for forever.
I mean, what was that like for you to have 2 people that maybe didn't always, I don't want to say they clashed personality-wise or weren't the best of friends, but, I mean, what was that like for you to have that become cohesive when they were on the court?
I think it speaks to how we run our program. I mean, everybody is so incredibly different, and it's not. The goal is not to get them to be identical. The goal is just to respect each other's strengths and what each other has to bring to the table and to the team. And that was a huge part of it. And I think sometimes it's if somebody, annoys you in one way or you kind of miss out on what they're actually bringing that's positive. And so coming together about what we're good at and building on our strengths is how we get good.
Yeah, and also you look at Australia and Benin. I ended up reading a lot about Benin getting ready for this, but I mean that's just culturally, it's wild. Culturally, it's wild to see how well they have come together on. That's really cool to see.
Yeah, I mean,
and both will factor in individually
awesome.
too, right?
Yes, for sure. I think both of them have matured quite a bit since they've been at Oklahoma, and they've also grown a lot in their confidence in who they are as a person and as a teammate. And that's been helpful because both are incredibly talented. They have very different game styles. Roisin is going to hit the ball big, huge. I mean, you've never seen a forehand like this. If you think you've seen the hardest forehand you've ever seen, come to the match. You'll see a harder one. And then Gloriana's she's scrappy, she's crafty, she can put balls away at the net. She's got great hands, you can't hit right through her. So she's kind of your surprise piece there, and they make a great combo.
By the way, we should also add 26-7 last year was Gloria in her singles competition, and then #1 in the country doubles. What a potential breakout year for her as well. Speaking of breakout years, Julia Garcia-Louise, the senior, where have you seen her biggest growth?
Everywhere. I mean, like an incredible person. She's a leader. She's a captain of our team. She's gotten so much better since she's been at Oklahoma. She's not a huge in stature, but she hits the ball huge. She can do everything. She can play high in our sport, high and heavy and out of your strike zone. She can play right through you. She's lefty, and she's got that lefty serve that's annoying to play against. She's got a lot of pieces of her game, but the one and most important piece is she competes every day. So if it's practice, if it's a match on court 22, you know exactly what you're going to get from Julia. Like, you know she's going to go out there and she's going to put everything on the line for Oklahoma. And that's a special player and a special person to lead your team.
Got a little bit less than a minute left. Tell me about your newcomers. Anyone that's really kind of jumped out at you here early?
Yeah, so we have Evelina Laskovich, a really good player from Belarus. She's been a pro. She's been top 360 in the world in ITF, in WTA, excuse me. So she's got that pro experience. We have Eda Mamedova from Russia. She's an incredible player and crafty. She reminds me of Dana Guzman before. We have Laura Brunkel, who's a breakout player. She had some injury in the fall, but I think she's going to be a pretty big impact player. And then we have, we call her Oyin, but Barakat Quadre. She's a transfer from FIU, a senior transfer. So when you have a senior that transfers from a program that was actually doing well, you know, they had a pretty good team culture, but wanted an opportunity to play at that P4 level in the SEC. And so she's got a lot of experience, even though she's new at Oklahoma. So we're excited about this group. We're excited about some of the new faces out there. They compete with energy. They've got different styles of play, and they're fun to watch.
You're awesome. Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
It's Audra Cohen talking OU women's tennis. We'll put a wrap on the Huddle next. Stick around.
Is brought to you by Walden Cleaners and Laundry, where the difference is quality. We want to thank all of our Sooner Radio Network affiliates across the state and region. Fans can check out Soonersports.com for an affiliate in your area. And if you're traveling outside the state of Oklahoma, you can listen to all the action on either SiriusXM Radio or download the Varsity Network app and listen free.
All right, that's a wrap for the Huddle, but don't go anywhere because Jenny Baranchek is standing by, and she's brought two rock stars to hang out with us tonight live from Rudy's. This final segment has been brought to you by the Trails Golf Club in Norman, where members become family. Inquire today at trailsgolf.com. Sooner Sports Talk is next.
Live from Rudy's Country Store and Barbecue, the Air Comfort Solutions OU Huddle has been presented by Air Comfort Solutions, your total home solution for plumbing, heating, air conditioning, and electrical. Make the winning call today. Also brought to you by Rudy's Country Store and Barbecue, bringing you the best in real Texas barbecue. And by Walden Cleaners, Walden Cleaners and Laundry, where the difference is quality. The preceding has been a Learfield presentation on the Sooner Sports Network.